Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my weekly update on my box truck business. My name is Zach Pasquarello. I am a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I own Harrisburg Bookkeeping. We do obviously bookkeeping, taxes, and I own Route 20 Trucking Company. I started a box truck business. If you guys have been following along, you know that by now. And I make weekly updates on my box truck business from an accounting and bookkeeping perspective. So I just want to share my personal experience, and hopefully you all can learn a little bit about how to run a box truck business from QuickBooks and bookkeeping and an accounting perspective. So if you guys like these videos, please give the video a like. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the videos, or you can go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. You can send me an email. You can call me. I'd be happy to work with you, especially if you are in the trucking business and you're looking for bookkeeping and accounting help. Okay, so with that, I always like to show my QuickBooks. That way you guys can see real numbers, and it just that way I can keep it real with you guys. You can see here in the title of this video, I did make $5,260 last week based on I think 3 or 4 deliveries, but that's not all there is to it. I see a lot of people posting videos on YouTube and Facebook about I grossed 5K, I grossed 10K in 1 week, but there's so much more to the trucking industry, to the box truck business specifically. There's so much more than just gross revenue. So I like to dive into my expenses. I like to dive into my real-time cash flow. That way you guys can see where is my money. Because just because you have a lot of revenue does not mean that correlates to cash in your checking account. So I'll jump right into my QuickBooks screen here. And this is for Route 20 Trucking Company. This is my actual QuickBooks. That way you guys can see what is really going on. Okay. So this is my QuickBooks account. I use QuickBooks Online. Highly recommend it if you guys are in the box truck business, if you guys are business owners in general. Highly recommend you guys use some sort of accounting software, and QuickBooks Online seems to be the best, at least for me and my clients. Okay. So sales, revenue, you can see here, just because I might have made 3 or 4 deliveries last week, I actually grossed $5,000 in real time. That's how much money I'm supposed to be paid based on the deliveries I made last week. You can see here I only actually collected $2,200 from 1 week. So if I click here on the income, this is October 10th through October 16th. You can see here it was 2 deliveries and I factored them. So I did get paid faster than you would if you just wait for the broker to pay you in 30 or 60 days. So I do recommend a factoring company, but I only got paid for 2 deliveries last week, and they were actually probably done a couple weeks ago. They weren't actually done last week. So I submit my factoring invoices like every 5 or 7 days. I try to do 2, 3, 4 at a time because they hit you with a $10 ACH direct deposit fee every time you submit a new factoring invoice. So if you submit an invoice for every single one of your deliveries, let's say each rate con is maybe $1,000, you're paying an extra $10 every time you submit that. So that's an extra 1% in factoring fees for the ACH direct deposit. So I try to submit 2 or 3 invoices at once. As you guys know, I don't drive the truck, so I do pay my driver, pay him 55 cents per mile, and I have a dispatcher. I pay him 10% of my revenue, and I pay my driver $75 every night he is over the road in a hotel. So that stuff never changes. Paying my driver. I use Fuel Man for my fuel cards. This week, really not too exciting. I'm not gonna get too in depth into this. I actually want to show you guys some other information. I've been kind of collecting some data on the loads that I've been delivering, so I wanted to show you my Excel spreadsheet and kind of show you how I track that. But just to keep with the weekly QuickBooks update here. So I paid my driver, paid my dispatcher, yada yada. Paid for This is my last week of paying for my fuel. So you'll see here it kind of lags 1 week behind because I am on net 7 terms with my fuel card. So if you don't have a fuel card, definitely get a fuel card. Even that 7-day buffer can help you save some cash. So after I paid for my fuel, my driver, my dispatcher, my total cost of goods sold was $3,500. So That still leaves me with $1,500 left over based on my actual revenue, but because I haven't collected on those deliveries yet, I'm negative already after I pay my driver and after I pay for my fuel. Factoring fees. So TAFs, they advertise like 2.99% or whatever, but after you factor in your ACH direct deposit fees, and they charge you like a 75 cents for every invoice they create for you. And also, if you don't use their fuel card, they charge you a little bit extra percentage. So I'm actually right around 4% for my factoring fees. So, they might advertise 2.5, they might advertise 3%, but in reality, it's actually closer to 4% whenever you're just starting out. Hopefully, after the first 6 months, I'll be able to negotiate something better. The only really thing I wanted to talk about that's unique about this, I mean, tolls, factoring fees, fuel, dispatch, driver, hotel, that's constant. That will never change. Every single week I talk about it. It's the same thing, getting kind of redundant at this point. But I did get a tablet. So for job supplies, I spent $84 last week, and I got a tablet for my driver, and I got a mount for the tablet. So the mount itself was like $30, and the tablet, it might have been Samsung. I didn't get an iPad because iPads are obviously pretty expensive, but I think it might have been like a Samsung. I'm not entirely sure, but that was $53. Got it on Amazon, and I'm going to go to Verizon either tomorrow or Wednesday, and I'm going to get a hotspot. It's like 40 or $50 a month. So my driver will have Wi-Fi, and the tablet's obviously not to like watch TV or play games or anything. It's just so he can have a big screen for the GPS. That way he doesn't have to use his phone. And also I'll put the Keep Truckin' app on there for the ELD so he can log in with the tablet. That way he's not using his personal phone for anything required of the driving. So I'm pretty excited about the tablet. I'm excited to hook him up with that. I think it'll help him with the GPS, just a little bigger screen, trying to navigate. That way he's not messing around with a little small screen from his phone. So my net income, negative again, negative $1,700. But I wanted to show you this one other thing. So that's in real time. That's cash that I actually have, whatever. It's an accurate depiction of my cash flow, but it's not necessarily an accurate depiction of my revenue versus my expenses to get my quote unquote true net income, I guess. I don't know. But I do want to show you how I've been keeping track of my expense or my rate cons. I recommend you guys do this because I am a bookkeeper full time, and this is like what I do, and it's even pretty difficult for me. I'm not driving. So if you guys are driving, if your owner operators driving out on the road all the time, it's probably very, very difficult. Don't trust your dispatcher. Don't trust your best friend from high school. Don't trust anybody but you and the people in your business to keep track of the money you're owed. Accounts receivable management is so important in this industry because it can very quickly get away from you if you wait weeks or months to look back and see, have I gotten paid on those invoices? So I want to show you my Excel sheet. Let me pull it up here. So I keep track of every load that I've done. So I have this here, and I have all the information for the past month of all the loads that I've done. And I have highlighted here in orange, these are the loads that I have not gotten paid yet for because for whatever reason, these, obviously everyone knows about Hurricane Logistics, AGD Logistics. They're not factorable because they don't have enough credit with TAFs. I don't know about your factoring company, but they don't have enough credit with TAFs, so I'm not able to factor them. So right here, if I select these 5 outstanding invoices, that's $8,155 that I am owed for deliveries that I did going all the way back to September 24th. So I track every single one of my rate cons and BOLs. I put them all in here. I've done 28 so far in the past 3 or 4 months. So it's not that many now, but as you can see, like if I hadn't done this at all, to go back and do all this data entry and all this keeping track of your invoices all at once can get pretty overwhelming. So I would recommend keep some sort of Excel sheet. If you have a laptop, good. You can't really do all this data entry on your phone. You're going to drive yourself nuts. If you have a tablet with a keyboard, maybe you can make it work, but definitely recommend using a laptop. And if you don't have Microsoft Office on your computer, you can use Google Sheets. It's free if you have a Gmail account. So use Google Sheets and just keep track of your invoices, keep track of when you've been paid, who hasn't paid you yet. And also I keep track of my RPM here. So I always enter in the weight. That way I know how much I'm hauling. And I enter in the miles, from pickup to delivery. my pay, and then if you just divide your pay divided by the miles, you'll get here your rate per mile. So you can see here, just rough ballpark, my average rate per mile is right around maybe $2.10 for the past month. So that's pretty good. My dispatcher and I were really working on getting loads faster, but also maintaining anything above $1.80, and I'm happy. I'm making money, he's making money, my driver's making money. So $1.80 is kind of my threshold. But really, the point of me showing you this is just so you can kind of see how important it is to keep track of all this information. Because I guarantee you next month, I'm not going to remember, September 24th, I never got paid for that $2,300 from American Success Transportation. But if you keep it all in Excel, stay organized, and keep up with it on a daily, weekly basis, just like your bookkeeping, it's important to manage your accounts receivable. And this is something super simple that you guys can do. You don't have to do it every day, but maybe at the end of the week, whenever you guys are done driving on Saturday or Sunday, pick a day, take an hour, go through all your rate cons, go through all your BOLs, and just enter all of this information yourself into Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. And don't rely on your dispatcher. Don't rely on anybody else to do this for you. I think it's really important that you guys kind of own this part of your business. That way you guys can keep track of who has paid you, who has not paid you, and then you guys can follow up with these brokers or your factoring company or your dispatcher, and you guys can kind of make sure that you guys get paid what you're due. So going back to my QuickBooks, I lost $1,700 last week, but I actually delivered $5,260 worth of loads. So hopefully once I get paid on all of those deliveries, I'll be positive again. I was thinking about getting a second truck, but I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to establish my business a little bit more, establish my processes, figure out my cash flow, and kind of wait until I'm actually profitable before I jump into another truck. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have $8,000 of outstanding receivables just floating around out there, and not everybody has just $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 laying around to front their business. So make sure you guys have a lot of cash when you're starting out this business, and make sure you guys keep track of your cash management, your cash flow after you started, because they can quickly get away from you paying for fuel, paying your driver, paying your dispatcher, maintenance. Don't even get me started about maintenance. All of those expenses really add up, and brokers, they don't pay less than 30 days, sometimes 60 days. So make sure you have cash, and make sure you guys are keeping track of your cash. Use QuickBooks and use some type of spreadsheet, Excel, Google Sheets. I really think it'll help you guys out a lot. And like I said, don't do it every day. Don't do it once a year, somewhere in the middle, maybe once a week, a couple times a month. Just enter in the loads you've done and who's paid you and who hasn't paid you. And I promise you, it will help you in the long run, keeping track of your accounts receivable. That's the video, guys. A little different this week. Not a whole lot has changed. I foresee not a whole lot changing in the future, but hopefully we can turn this business around and I can start making at least a little bit of profit. That way I can see about getting another truck in the near future. So thanks, guys, for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you like these videos and want to keep seeing more of them. And if you guys need help with your business, your bookkeeping, your taxes, reach out to me, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. Send me a message, give me a call. I would love to work with you.